Hello everyone, good afternoon and welcome to today's New Mom Monday. We are excited to have Bella with us today.
Hi.
Bella is Bri's oldest. You're first.
Yeah, my first.
You're first.
My 12-year-old that we reference a lot. We
Right.
reference in ages a lot on the show versus names.
Gender or name, yeah, it's always the age. But
boy, girl, kid. I called her kid today. Kid, let's go.
Kid, time to go. So I'm going to start with just a little story because it was scary. Like, it was one of those mom, like, my heart is racing now because of remembering,
Thinking about it?
Yeah, how scary it was. Yesterday, Kylie had, I'm going to call it an anaphylactic reaction.
And tell them how old is Kylie?
To something. Kylie's 10.
Okay.
And so this whole crunchy thing is fairly new. We haven't had Kylie's food allergies tested yet. And we were playing, she has some sort, just a bad cough and cold right now. So she's been taking some supplements for that. And yesterday she was dancing in the living room and Brian was up there and the other kids were upstairs and I was downstairs cleaning and she comes down crying and coughing and motioning like that she couldn't breathe. She couldn't talk. She couldn't say anything to me and she was crying. And I'm like, Kylie, what's going on? Trying to be like mom calm, like freaking out on the inside, but being calm on the outside. Like, oh, let's go upstairs and get a drink, right? Like, really nonchalant.
She's like, Mom, I can't breathe.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, let's go upstairs and get a drink. And she tries to take a drink and she choked. Like, she couldn't even swallow. It was that bad. And so now I'm like, okay, that's scary. Like, she can't breathe. We go over by the sink because we thought she might get sick. And Brian looked at me with like these eyes of, she's turning purple. And I thought, I kind of looked back and her, she had like a tank top on or something. And her arms were red. And her chest was red and her ears were red. And I'm like, I don't know what's happening. And I told her, I'm like, you have to take Albizia, like right now. And she does not like taking supplements. But I always give her a timer. Like, I'll be like, I'll set the timer for 2 minutes and you have to take it just to try to get her to do it. You've taken supplements, I'm sure.
Yes, I have.
And they're gross. So she's been taking Golden Seal for her cough.
Which is one of the worst.
Which is one of the worst.
I mean, if you can do Golden
So
Seal,
bad.
you can do anything.
Yeah, so for Albizia, I told her, I was like, Kylie, and she coughed and was crying and couldn't say anything still. And I was like, just take Albizia and you have to trust me and you have to take it. And she took it and like, no joke, like, I mean, it felt like hours, but seconds later, she could breathe and started to relax and was still coughing, but her throat was opened up and she could tell me that like it kept closing up and opening and now looking back, I'm thinking, okay, that was probably the one time that like you would call 911. That's probably what was happening. And I had no idea what to do. So I did Albizia and it worked. So yay.
Which is awesome.
But yeah, but it was one of those
I mean, it's
scary
not awesome that it happened. It's awesome.
No, and now.
And she's not anaphylactic. I mean, she's not had issues before.
No,
I've always
we've
wondered
never
if
had
Albizia
anything.
can stop an anaphylactic
But-
reaction. And we don't know for sure that's what it was.
I don't know what it was. We were cleaning. It could have been dust. We had a fire in the fireplace all day. She was dancing, has this cough, cold going on. So I have no idea what it was that triggered it to happen like that. But she's, just talking crunchy scale and where we're at. She's C-section baby, fully vaccinated. We have not been eating organic or gluten-free or any of that for a long time. So I have no idea, but now the priority of getting her food allergies tested has just like skyrocketed.
Because you had Zoe's
to,
food allergies
okay, yeah.
tested.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, we
okay.
had Zoe's tested, but Kylie was kind of next on our list of, we do want to do it at some point, and so now it's like, okay, we have to do that and figure out. Yeah, especially after something like that happened. So not to say that Albizia is like the answer, because I have no idea the medicine behind it, but I'm so grateful that for some reason my gut it's inflammation, right? That's what happens. I don't know. My gut was, okay, Albizia decreases inflammation, so hopefully that works, and it did. And then we gave it to her.
I'm sure you would have picked up the phone and called 911 or got in the car.
Yeah.
I mean, you live in the city and find out what was faster for the ambulance or if you had to do that, not having an EpiPen,
right?
If that's what it was.
And when she couldn't swallow and she was motioning like that at her throat, that was when I was like, this feels like an EpiPen, which made me think, allergy, which made me think inflammation, which made me think Albizia. You know, like that was
you
my
had that in your
my train of
toolbox at home.
Right.
Watch Albizia sales.
Yeah, yeah. Watch.
The show really
Albizia
isn't
sales
about
go.
Albizia.
No,
it's more
not.
just about everybody's at a different.
Really, yeah. So anyway, she's next for food allergies, but basically.
She's coming in today, did you say, or tomorrow?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't made the appointment yet, but she's going to get it done now, just so that we can kind of narrow it down. And then we realized, you know, we haven't done peanut butter in the house for 1.5 years, and she had a peanut butter
because Zoe was
Rice
allergic to
Krispie
it.
bar. Yeah, so maybe Kylie can't have peanuts. I guess it's all up in the air right now. So stay tuned. I guess we'll fill you in on what we find out.
I'm
you know,
excited
if it is
you have
something.
the tools to try to figure that out.
Right.
I'm excited to watch.
Yeah, and I'm so
story.
glad that it worked, and it was definitely scary, but I'm glad I trusted my gut of, okay, let's do this and see what happens, and it worked. So anyway, enough about me. Let's talk about Bella. Let's talk about Bella and your story and how things started for you. And we talked a little bit before today, just, you know, what started for you and what were your symptoms, but you said it's really for Mom to tell.
Yeah, I think Mom can tell it better than I can.
I can start because you were 2.5.
Okay.
So to take it back a few years,
Yeah.
my mom was a patient here. We've got to get her on to do her
We
story.
do need
She's
to
got a
get
killer
Mom
visual
also.
story.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was a patient here chiropractically. And I say that because I hadn't delved into the rest of it. It's all chiropractic
Right.
based, the 3 T's. But I was here getting adjusted, I should say, not chiropractically. And I came in for my adjustment. I had just left the doctor's office, a local pediatrician, and something, you talked about mommy instincts, something in me, no, sorry. First it was the poop. It's the poop first.
Let's talk about Bella's
Talk
poop.
about the poop.
That's not embarrassing
'Kay.
for a 12-year-old.
She didn't poop. She potty trained like this. She's never wet the bed. Everybody's gonna know all this about you. No, she's never wet the bed. She's never had an accident. She potty trained like this. Very different than my boys, but anyways,
Yeah.
that's common. And she started not being able to poop. I mean, we're talking a 2-year-old. So she's this big, this little peanut with little ponytails, screaming on the toilet in pain. So
Poor girl.
not that she was holding it in, that she was scared of the toilet, she couldn't poop. And when she would go, they were, I am not exaggerating, baseball sized. I don't know how, because her one butt cheek
Right.
was only this big, and then so. Anywho, I went into the doctor's office. They gave me this whole list. It was like 4 pages of foods that are high fiber. So she was supposed to eat a lot of blueberries, a lot of popcorn, a lot of whole wheat,
To try to get it out. Yeah.
raspberries. Everything had a point system. It was neat the way it worked, but everything had a point system, and I was supposed to get her 100 points a day, right?
Okay.
And all these different things, and put her on Miralax, okay? Which I did. We went to the store, we bought the Miralax. Well, things start happening, you start going. It's a laxative.
Right.
And I was in for an adjustment a few days after that, and for some reason, I had asked Dr. Flynn, I shouldn't say for some reason, I had asked Dr. Flynn.
Yeah.
This was 10 years ago now, probably. Asked Dr. Flynn if he knows anything about that. I mean, we didn't have media, we didn't have all this stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Because he's just a chiropractor at this
At
point.
this
Like
point,
in
you
your
know.
head, you know,
Yep.
you're thinking he's just a chiropractor.
And he goes, nonchalant, totally doc form. Just go gluten-free. Just go gluten-free, okay.
Of course.
Young, I don't know what this means,
Right.
single mom. So we go gluten-free. Now, 10 years ago, there was not restaurants that had gluten-free menus.
Right.
So we did it. And I came in for my adjustment the next day. It's not working.
It was supposed to happen like the Miralax. It's just supposed to happen.
Exactly.
Right.
It's not working. She said, and he goes, it's gonna take time, and he brought me through. It causes inflammation, and now he could have sent me to a food allergy test, of course, but that's 2 weeks waiting back. At the time, I didn't work
something.
here, so
Yeah.
I can't even put 2 and 2 together, or what we were doing at the office
Yeah.
or whatnot. I needed something, so he said, start going gluten-free. It's very common with. Now that I've done all this research, how
Now
they
you know.
process foods nowadays, inflammation in the little kids, so on and so forth, glyphosate, Roundup, so on and so forth. It was night and day difference.
How long did it take?
I don't even remember. Long enough that she went somewhere, had it, realize that was the trigger.
And you could tell.
I remember my family. I wonder if Dad's on today. I remember Buddy, and crazy. Like, we're already weird.
Yeah.
We're already, we're not even nowhere near as weird as we are now.
As weird
But
as we are
now
now.
I'm telling them she can't have this and she can't have that. And
Yeah.
I remember my grandma, as sweet as she is, saying she can have these brownies, or what were those? She can have these bars because there's no flour in them. She
Okay.
said, I used pretzels instead of flour in the
cute.
recipe. Really sweet, but pretzels are flour. So
Right.
hearing this isn't gonna work, and then I remember you were at Buddy's house, and he called me in
remember this
tears. Do you
story.
remember this? He
Yeah.
called me in tears. I don't know what to do, and she's on the toilet, and she's screaming, and she's
Oh,
crying,
no.
and this poor kid, and I'm at work. You're gonna
Yeah.
have, this is every day of my life.
Yeah.
You don't realize the
She just
severity of
came-
it. It's
yeah.
fine, I told you, blah, blah, blah. Well, she ended up going, and then I got another phone call. This thing is huge, and I can't believe this little body can pass this large stool, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But it clicked.
Yeah.
That was what it took for my family to realize it. So that was
It
the
actually
start.
caused, yeah.
And then Dr. Flynn's a genius, right? I don't know that I think that anymore, just kidding. And so then you start questioning. Okay, the medical doctor told me I need to be on Miralax that was the thing that got
Forever.
me. I said, well, how long? How long are you thinking, right?
Like a couple days just
Couple
to get
days,
things moving.
And the
sure.
words were potentially for the rest of her life. You
That's
want me
not
to put my
normal.
2-year-old on this, at the time I'm thinking in my head, very expensive powder, because I had no concept of life. Now
Yeah.
I'm like, it's only, you know what supplements cost. But powder for the rest of her life, I wasn't willing to take that answer. I
Right.
trusted my mommy instinct, and I
Right.
said, I'm not taking that. So that's when I asked Dr. Flynn. That's
For a
when we went
2-year-old.
gluten-free. And that was the start of everything. And then the next doctor's appointment, of course, they poo-pooed that, but whatever works for you.
Right.
And then it was time for shots. And I trusted
just
that
started.
instinct, and I just started, and we got into an argument at the pediatrician's office, and I said, I'll just schedule another appointment. I just want time. I didn't really put 2 and 2 together. I didn't know I was
Time
showing
to
up for shots
research.
today. I want time to research.
Yeah.
I left there. She basically told me, I'll never forget this, that if I don't vaccinate, my kids will probably be okay because of herd immunity,
Right.
but I'm a bad mom.
Like she flat out told you that
She
you're a bad
flat
mom.
out told me, you are not being a respectable member. I'm already told by society day in and day out
Right.
that I'm a bad mom because
Right.
I'm 19 with
Right,
a
'cause you're a
2-year-old
single mom.
and a single mom. I don't need anybody else to tell me I'm a bad mom because
Right.
I'm trusting my instinct,
So
right?
this doctor did that anyway.
So I left
you're a
that
bad
office and I came right here for an adjustment. This was back in the day when I would just walk in and I'd say, "Can I get an adjustment?"
Yeah,
I'd wait in
right.
line for Dr. Flynn, and he did his whole Pac-Man theory. I'm sure we've got a video on it somewhere. If
don't know
not,
what
I
that
know
is.
there's one coming.
Really?
T cells. Now it's all over. Sherry
Oh.
Tenpenny. So I didn't know, and he started
Oh,
explaining to me, and
gotcha.
it just clicked, and it made
Yeah.
sense. And I never went back and made that doctor's
The
appointment.
vaccine stuff. Like
Yep.
that's what, okay.
Never went back and made that doctor's appointment to get the shots. Never went back to that doctor again. Haven't walked into a pediatrician's office since.
Since.
I have not.
Do you get the phone calls of, it looks like
In
you're
the
due
beginning,
for an appointment or
in the
whatever. I just
beginning,
got
but
one
then
for
my other
Finley.
2 kids never ended up, other than the little CPS thing, which we talked
Yeah.
about last week or 2
Right.
weeks ago with Jace. But my other 2 kids never ended up in the system,
Okay,
so I didn't
so they
get
don't-
those. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
they don't bug you with phone
I
calls.
just avoided it. What's the worst that happens?
Yeah.
And nothing happened. She's 12, and they haven't came and take her away.
Look at you.
They haven't.
Here.
She's still here. That is what drove my passion for wanting to be here. And then like we talked about in a different episode, I stalked the place and I decided that as soon as there was a job opening, I
Right,
was going to work
that you were
here.
gonna get it.
I started out the front desk 3 days a week.
Yeah.
But why I wanted to talk about this is I hear from people, we all hear, you sit on your high horse, or
Yeah. Right.
you make me feel guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Prime example.
Right.
Like, I could sit here and be bummed about what we did. There were years, and she was not 2.5 when we went organic. She was 2.5 when we went gluten-free,
Gluten-free.
75% up and downs. She was somewhere between 2 and 3 when we stopped vaccinating. We still did Tylenol, teething. I mean, all this myriad of
Sure,
stuff.
because it's a slow progression to get to being where you are now. It's not just something, and I mean, even the same for me and other moms. And that's why we did the big Start Somewhere campaign, was you have to start somewhere, and then you slowly get into doing more testing or changing different things, you know, beauty stuff or things you clean with and toxins, and where you get to that point where, you know, you're becoming more crunchy.
Yeah.
But like eventually, so how old then when you started doing organic?
Well, I don't even remember. I'm picturing the houses that I was at, because that's, you know,
Yeah, where you
the
lived
cupboards
at the time.
and what the cupboards looked like. So I would say I started here then shortly after that, and that's when we really started switching. And we would go organic, but then not give this up, not really understand, really just practicing the Start Somewhere. But I hear a lot of movements nowadays of, you know, breast is best, and then moms say, that's shaming, that's mom shaming. Or we talk about the dangers of C-section, and I hear, you make me feel bad because I had a C-section, or my kid's fine, we can all live in that realm, and we can bury our heads in the sand, and we can get offended left and right. Or we can realize, I didn't know any better. When I got pregnant at 16, and we talk about her birth story in the emergency C-section.
Some of the other videos.
Some of the other videos, we can link that. But I didn't know any better. I gave up soda, and I thought I was doing fantastic.
But
didn't give
what
up
were you
stress.
still on?
Didn't give up Adderall for that I was diagnosed for ADHD. Didn't give up the fried foods every other day of the week. I truly believe in the sick mommies make sick babies, and sorry kid, she got the short end of the stick. And now we have to take steps to be proactive against that. So we do regular food allergy testing with her. We are going to test her vitamin D more than we are her brothers. It's different.
Just because of that.
We started foods at 4 months old. She could not sit, and we were shoving a spoon in her mouth, which is still standard practice. They're moving towards 6 months. I can't imagine giving Jackson food right now. He's almost 6 months. Again, I don't say these things so that you get the rioters. You make me feel bad. You can do what you want to do, but start researching. That's what we're called as moms. You can't use the excuse anymore that you didn't know.
No, because that's what the internet is for. Just go to www.google.com.
This one watches YouTube videos for everything. Health, fitness, packing bags.
Makeup, cleaning your
Makeup,
room.
cleaning, everything.
Do you clean your room?
Sometimes.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a video on that on YouTube.
Oh yes, there is.
But I was going to ask you, Bella, you haven't had, so this is still new, so when you are new to not having gluten, you have like a day where you have it and you don't really notice the side effects because it's still a new process for you, and I don't know the science behind that, but that's just how it is.
It can take 30 days for gluten to get out of the system.
Really?
So that's where, you know, dairy can be 2 to 3 weeks. It differs per food, but that's where, well, it's not wheat. We went wheat-free or gluten-free for a week. And I'm not saying it's gluten. I'm saying hers was.
But I was going to say, like,
that's where testing becomes important.
When you do give it up for that amount of time, now when you have it, what do you notice?
Well, my face breaks out. I get really bad cramps, and sometimes I like throw up, and because my immune system is already like so bad from like before those years that my stomach just can't handle it.
So have you ever done it on purpose?
Yes. Like when you go to birthday parties or my friends have they're like, oh, Bella, I brought you something. And I'm like, okay, I just have to take a bite, you know? But all the little bites add up, as she's been telling me for the last few weeks. So.
They do. They add up, and then you feel miserable, and then you're like, oh, it wasn't worth it. It's usually not worth it.
But it's a process. I mean, we started this when she was 2, 3, 4. And we went through a phase, probably 5th grade. It was hard. Not the gluten-free aspect, just I don't want to bring my own food to birthday party, and all my friends are having it. And I feel like we're over that hump because she had a friend over yesterday. They made cupcakes for the class. And
my basketball team.
Yeah, for the basketball team.
Oh,
Usually
cool.
we try to make everything how we eat if we're doing, but they're middle schoolers. They were not going to eat cupcakes that Bella could eat. So we made them cupcakes, and her friend, Bella, you're not going to be able to eat these, but you're making them. She's like, I don't care.
Right.
Yeah.
So
She had
did
some
you make
almond
your
milk
own?
ice cream.
Did you
No,
make
she had
some
almond
of
milk
your own?
ice cream
Okay.
instead. Our house is having a little plumbing issue with the dishwasher, so we stayed out of the kitchen yesterday for the most part after the cupcakes were done.
But you have learned to do baking and to do foods and stuff that you can enjoy because of your allergies.
Yes.
Because what are some of your allergies? I think eggs, you said?
Eggs, gluten, dairy, rice, but
Well, dairy she feels like she doesn't do well with, but it doesn't show up on her testing.
Okay. Oh,
So-
interesting. So you just can tell when you have it. You just don't feel
Tuna, but she could care less.
Tuna.
She never
I
eats
never
that.
eat tuna.
You don't want to eat tuna?
Yeah. No, so
But you've figured out how to, like, do you bake? Do you get to eat
Yeah, I do.
sweets and treats? And
Yeah, we actually have a bunch of recipes that I like to use. Plus, there's a lot of now there's so many egg replacers. Like you can do chia seed in water or bananas or so many things.
Applesauce,
Oil,
right,
whatever.
flax, there's all sorts of substitutions.
Yes.
So do you make all your own stuff, or I guess you guys both, like,
She
you
does
fight
them both
over
do.
like who's
She
gonna
actually
get to
likes
eat
to
all the good
bake.
stuff? Okay.
I don't like to bake because baking to me is you can't fix it. If I start sauteing, that might be a little bit of a control freak issue, but if I'm sauteing veggies and they don't taste good, I can add stuff to make it taste good. If I make a cupcake and it flops, I can't fix it. It just kills me. I don't bake. I
she never
rarely bake.
bakes.
Yeah. In fact, Jace says to her, "Will you make me cookies, Bella?" Because you know they ain't coming from me.
Yeah.
And you're like, of course I will.
Yeah.
So I'm the best big sister.
Definitely. I am
But
the
it's-
best big sister.
You are a big sister. It's definitely been up and downs, and it's. She said the other day she was sick around Christmas. We actually had to move a show, I think, because of that. But all the kids were sick, and we know the boys pop up faster. They just do. When she gets hit, she gets hit. And we're driving in the car the other day. Do you remember that? And do you remember what you said to me?
No, we talked about it on the other show, remember?
We did talk about it on a different show, yeah, too. And I said, and what did you say?
What do you mean, what did I say?
You said to me, well, yeah, that's because when I was little,
She fed me not good food, bad food.
Right. Yeah.
you can say it on this show. She said, you fed me crap when I was little, Mom.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see
She
we
knows
don't
now.
exist in a land of, my life is ending because I didn't know this when she was little. Now it's just, it's knowledge, it's power, it's...
Yeah. And it's not to make
Start
other
somewhere.
people feel bad. Like, you should be gluten-free, and then your kids will be awesome. That's not really it. I mean, they probably would be awesome.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you what goes through my head sometimes. Just
You
kidding.
should. Wait, what show was that? Do you guys remember? There was a show that we did, and after the show, you went on like this total rant about something. Do you remember what it was? You're not going to say it because you remember. There, and then the show was done, and she went on this long rant of something similar to that. Like, I'm not going to say.
We've done
how
that a
great-
couple times now.
And
We've
I'm
been
like,
like,
that
we need
should
an
have been on
after
the
show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because it's, I mean, it's just what you're thinking, and
Yeah.
you
I
know,
mean, if
realizing
you
some of
know
this stuff.
this, we're going to talk about this on one of the shows, but this
Yeah.
mom guilt of, I feel bad
Yeah,
packing my
that's
son's lunch every day, and I feel bad that he can't have his Johnson & Johnson bubble wash, and I feel bad that, I mean, you hear it
Right.
all.
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of like when, you get those people that ask you for advice, yet you know they're not going to take it,
Yeah.
and you've had the same conversation over and over again.
them.
I'm judging you.
You're just gonna flat out say it. You
She's
are
judging them.
Yeah.
I mean, we all have them.
Yeah.
If you ask me, doe-eyed, how do I take care of this? Oh, come on, sit down, let's talk. I love that.
And you're more than happy to share, hence
But,
the show.
and this doc
the
has
ways
helped
to
me
improve.
learn this and setting boundaries. If you're going to ask me the same thing 18 times and I'm going to tell you and you're never going to heed the advice, I'm not going to talk. I'm going to go, oh, I'm sorry, I feel bad that your
but you don't really
kid
feel
is having
bad.
a tantrum and hitting the wall and you just fed them Jack's Pizza. We've talked about this.
Yeah, it is what it is. Bella, there's a question on here from Rachel, and she's wondering how you talk to your friends about it. So do your friends ask questions?
Actually, I pull out my lunch at lunch. People are like, ew, you eat organic? That's gross.
For real?
Like, yeah,
all the time.
Say that?
All the time.
We're in the country school.
Yeah.
She tells me this and I'm shocked.
A lot of people are like, ew. And I'm like,
Which half the time you don't really know it's organic because, I mean, the apple doesn't read organic on the side of it.
Right.
But when they're like, oh, can I have a bite? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, what is this? And I'm like, oh, just organic, like, chocolate-covered strawberries. They're like, ew, it's organic. I don't want to eat it.
They're crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Don't share with them. It's too expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
But now she, after years and years of doing this, she kind of decides, right, for yourself.
Like what to eat?
She's like, what are you getting at, Mom? The other day, I said to her, we were somewhere. Oh, we were in Florida?
Yeah.
Or we were somewhere,
on your
and I
trip.
said, I bet they have gluten-free buns. She has to be adamant with her gluten-free. That will, we'll try to be adamant with all of it. She's adamant with her tuna.
Yeah, well, that's an easy one.
I don't think I've ever eaten tuna.
That's an easy one to abide by.
And so I said, there's probably gluten-free buns here. And she goes, well, yeah, but there's going to be egg in it. And probably shouldn't admit this on camera, but I said, well, that's up to you. And she goes, her face is very clear right now, but she goes, have you seen this face? What did you, remember that?
Yeah.
And you said, does this face
Just,
look like it needs eggs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said that.
And so they learn. It takes time, but they
But
learn.
once you realize the way you feel when you eat it, then it's not worth doing. Yeah. So then what did you do? So you didn't have the regular bun or the gluten-free bun? What did you, in that case, you just had the burger or something?
Yeah, or did you have a lettuce wrap?
I usually have a lettuce wrap. Those are good.
Yeah, I'm allergic to lettuce. It doesn't work very well.
Oh, so you should
to
let
have
us
a lettuce
alone.
wrap.
That's all for today. I'm just kidding.
That's perfect. That about sums it up. But I mean, it really does. That's really the gist of it, is that it's not too late.
I mean, as long
and
as we
you can
have you
always-
here,
Yeah. What else do you want to chat about?
what are some of your struggles that you have, or exciting of the way we eat and the way we do life?
It's actually really fun when I find someone who eats organic, like a friend at school. I'm like, oh, you know what that is? That's fun. And it's kind of sad sometimes, like as I said before, like when I go to a birthday party and I can't have that and I have to like get my own thing. Or some of my friends' parents will try to be like super nice and they'll like get me a gluten-free pizza, but it'll have eggs in it. And I'll be like, oh, I can't have it, but then they tried and it's,
Yeah, so that's hard then when people are trying. I know Kylie went on a field trip once and they all went to Wendy's. And it was one of these like, Mom, I don't want to, like, it's embarrassing at some ages, you know, to like
We
pack
went
a
through that.
lunch.
Now she's great, but we went through that. Remember that? You're like, well, can I just have what they have?
Yeah. I mean, pack a lunch when everybody else is eating fast food, you know, it's just not as, it's not fun. But now that you're older and you realize what it does, you know, it's easier to,
Yeah, the risks aren't worth the rewards, is what we've determined.
We
and
do.
now her brother has oats. I can't do dairy, so we just kind of exist within it. We bring a lot of our own food, different places, or the dish to pass is something that we can all have.
Yeah. Something
But
you guys can
really,
do.
I get asked all the time. People say to me, "It's so hard." And I'm like, if she can do it at 12 years, 11, 10, and obviously when she was little, I was cooking her food.
Right.
Anybody can do it, and we
Anybody
just start simple.
Well, and then it's you know, it's a mindset thing too, you know, understanding and knowing and getting it to click, you know, for people. Brian, my husband, because he does lunches and snacks and everything for all the kids, what are some of your favorite go-to meals and snacks?
Ooh, that is
gluten
a good
and
thing.
egg. And he's egg-free too, so he's always looking
Well,
for
a
stuff.
little shout out to him. He makes the best iced chai lattes.
Ooh.
I will have to tell you that.
That's awesome.
Well, my favorite snacks, I like Lara bars. Those are pretty good.
Oh, yes.
I like gluten-free chicken nuggets. They taste better than the real ones. I actually think, hands down. I know Auntie Kimmy agrees with me on that too.
Yeah. Where are those from? Do you know?
Woodman's.
Like a brand? Okay.
She likes the Applegate.
Okay.
Yeah, those are really good. There's a lot of organic and gluten-free snacks out there that are just great.
Yeah. Chicken nuggets.
Do you want me to say some of your favorites?
Yeah.
So she's big into fresh fruit.
Oh.
She takes
Just always
she'll
fresh
eat
fruit?
like 2 apples for lunch with her other stuff.
Yeah,
So
right.
fresh fruit that's where people oftentimes think
Overcomplicate it.
yes, they do. There's nothing wrong with sliced strawberries. There's nothing wrong with sliced apples, but
Or broccoli. I mean, I'm sure you eat
beef
veggies
jerky,
too.
broccoli.
Oh, are you serious? I
Yes.
was kind of joking.
Yeah.
Because I just assumed veggies.
Beef jerkies she likes.
awesome.
She loves dip. So she'll take Veganese and
Yeah.
sprinkle different seasonings in it till it tastes good. And then she'll dip carrots, peppers, broccoli, cauliflower in it. Sandwiches you do. What else do we do for all your lunches? Lots of leftovers. That's a staple in our house is
Yeah.
that lunch is whatever we had for dinner the day
night
before.
before.
Because I have to make a lunch for myself and my husband and her.
I make my own lunch.
Call
Make
me
that
out.
clear.
She
Depending
does
on
make
the
her
day.
own lunch. Last week she took organic tomato soup and took 2 pieces of Sammy's bread with grass-fed butter on it, and that was her lunch. So just thinking outside of the box. But I would say the hardest for people to comprehend and wrap their head around for her with the no eggs is breakfast. We hear a
Yes,
lot, what do you
right.
eat for breakfast?
So what do you do for breakfast?
Well, I love Sammy's bread, just with I love avocado toast.
Oh, yeah.
That's really good with salt and pepper, hot sauce, whatever you want to put on it. It's just,
That's awesome. For breakfast?
yes.
See,
Yeah.
like I would never think of that for breakfast.
Tater tots she loves.
Oh, I love tater
For
tots.
breakfast?
Yeah.
Yeah. All kinds of different meats. I mean, she likes turkey bacon, regular bacon,
Yeah, I can
pork
see the
sausage,
meats.
chicken sausage.
And you can take Canadian bacon and you can fry it and it tastes really good.
Bacon.
With an egg. I'm just kidding.
Let's see.
The lumberjack pancakes.
Wait, can you do duck eggs?
No.
No,
No.
she can do any eggs.
Oh yeah, there's these really good pancakes that we got that don't need eggs, and they actually taste good, and they actually look like real
They're
pancakes.
gluten-free, egg-free, but those have a little bit of buttermilk in them.
Okay.
So she can have
Yeah,
those.
and you can't.
I
Right.
can, so I make different pancakes for me. It's kind of,
Those are,
when
and-
people tell me that it's impossible,
Yeah.
it's not. Just don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah. Well, and that was actually one of the things my sister said. If you can't do milk and eggs and wheat, well, gluten, she's like, what do? You don't just do a bowl of cereal or pancakes and waffles and eggs for breakfast,
Yeah, there's
So
other
some of those
options.
other
Sweet
options.
potatoes, I know she doesn't love sweet potatoes, but
I like sweet
I've
potato
done
fries.
those potato fries.
Yeah.
Let's see
Not
here. You've
mashed
done
sweet
different
potatoes.
shakes for breakfast when
Oh,
you're
yeah, or
feeling them.
smoothies, right.
Yeah.
The coconut milk yogurt.
Oh,
liking
those are really
those.
good.
We just got some almond milk yogurt. That's very good.
Tell them how you eat your breakfast and where you store your paper plates when you eat on the way to the bus.
In the
What?
mailbox.
Really?
Yes. Well, my driveway is really long, so
so
I have to walk to the bus, and I usually just have a plate, and then I just put it in the mailbox.
Oh, like when you're done using them.
Yeah, so I get
Yeah,
the
so
mail
the
on the way
mailbox is
out and
full.
I remove all the paper plates.
That's awesome. Hey, it works. Then you don't have to get on the bus with your paper plate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of inventive.
And then it helps
But-
with the plumbing issue so that you don't have to worry about having to wash dishes, right?
I'm like, plumbing issue? I don't put my
You
paper
said you had a
plates down
plumbing
the
issue.
toilet. I was thinking, yeah,
Down the toilet.
she said plumbing issue. But
We love grown cereal, all bean based. Those are like the strawberry oat, like the Cheerios.
My
They
friend
make the
Trinity gets those, and we ate a whole box of those one time at camp.
Those are very
really
good. I
good.
think the kids have had those before. Brian says the no egg club and Lara bars are my jam. Avocado toast. Avocado toast, that's a great idea.
avocado toast.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, what was I just going to say? I thought about it. Oh, we always equate, what do eggs do? What do we always say? What do you always say eggs do if you eat them?
Break my face out.
But wheat causes...
Oh.
It's weird saying that, like, on camera.
It's a weird thing. Wheat causes anxiety, right?
Yeah.
Or what does it cause?
Yeah. I thought she was going to say something else.
Oh, poop issues?
Yeah.
Oh, poop issues.
Yeah, but also anxiety-wise.
Oh, yes.
So what does that mean? Like,
well, whenever I have wheat, I get like super high anxiety, and more depth into that is like, if I have a test tomorrow, I like freak out and I just start crying for no reason.
Yeah.
And
and you notice that when you have gluten.
Yeah, or I'm like, oh, what are they gonna think about my new shoes? Like, what if I
hypersensitive
like,
to what are people thinking and saying about me and other.
Right.
Yeah.
And do you know, like, what's the science behind that? I don't know.
Dr. Jesse or probably any of the docs could explain.
Right.
Well, it has to do what glutamate does to the brain and the gut-brain connection. Obviously, it's the gut-brain connection, but causing inflammation in the gut, I would assume hormones to the brain.
Makes you
I just talk about
anxious.
the mom stuff, not
Yeah, I just didn't
stuff.
know. I'm like, I don't know how that
It's
works.
one of the things that I know it. I've heard us train on it or heard the docs speak. And
Talk about it.
for me, it's so night and day difference. We'll know if she's told, no, that doesn't have wheat, because she's very, very good about avoiding wheat. She does not touch it. If something happens, I'll go, you were driving me crazy.
Yes.
Did you? Well, I didn't, but I did eat this, so maybe this was, you know.
So that's funny. Kylie, the 10-year-old, we were doing a fast with church and gave something up for 21 days. And at the new year, she gave up gluten, and initially didn't really know what that meant. You know, I'm super particular about it, but the kids are kind of, you know, we'll get gluten-free cereal or whatever, but not very strict. She decided to, you know, completely go gluten-free. And in the beginning, it was really cute because she was eating certain things like a grilled chicken breast, and she was like, does this have gluten in it? I'm like, no, to try to explain what does have gluten in it. And that the second week that she was gluten-free, she hates history. I don't know how you feel about history, but she hates history, and she never does very good at her history tests, and she aced them. She aced them both. She got 100% on her spelling test. She didn't have any anxiety issues. Like normally when I take her into school, she'd get really nervous and be concerned, same kind of stuff. Very anxious every morning. And since then, she's like completely different kid. So 21 days, well, what's the date today? I don't know, but.
It's 21st, 22nd?
I'm not going to tell her when it's 21 days because she's been doing so good with it. And it's been like what you said, I was shocked. I'm like, is this really, I mean, as funny as it is it really the food? Is it really the gluten that made that happen?
Yeah.
We just talked about that, but it's like, it really is.
Well, another neat thing to touch on, we talked a lot about gluten because that's your big kicker, and eggs. My 3-year-old, so we're a gluten-free family. We don't have really any gluten
just don't have it in the house.
We just don't. Yeah. And so I strictly am, she strictly is. But then my husband and Jace, if they're out somewhere and they'll grab, you know, different things, it's not of, hey, we have to be super careful. We try. Jay started getting a red red ring around his lips and sunken, like eyes. Just looked tired all the time. So we decided, we played with it, of course, in the beginning, just while we were waiting for test results to come back. We, of course, did test results. It's oats.
Oats?
Oats.
And what is it in that he was eating? No idea.
Oh, what's it in? Oatmeal. I make superfood oatmeal. I make power balls. Bars, all different kind of stuff. So it's oats, but that's why it's so important to test.
To get tested.
And why we're constantly saying in every one of our videos, get tested, get tested, get tested. We would have never guessed. I would have never guessed it was oats for him, just because, I don't know why I went to guess. I would have started with all the things that we have. Is it acid in the fruits? Is it gluten? Is it dairy? Is it eggs? It was his oats.
So you would never guess that a healthy food, because oats are typically granola bars and oatmeal for breakfast, and it's got the whole heart association thing on the box. You know, you expect that it's a healthy food.
And there's a few other things that showed up on his list that don't cause the reaction that oats have, which is where I struggle with these elimination diet, the fad of just do an elimination diet. that's causing inflammation even though you don't know it.
Right.
Just because there's no outward symptoms doesn't mean it's not causing inflammation, which is causing a myriad of other issues.
So that's what made me think of Kylie even. I don't know what the one thing is that triggered that reaction this weekend, but it made me think maybe it's something small over and over and over and over again.
Or a multitude of 5 things at a time in the combination.
All the time. Right.
She just said to me, this has been a rough winter for sick kids. I mean, just everywhere. I shouldn't say kids, everyone. We've had, my mom keeps telling me people are in and out of her office.
Yeah, lots of sick.
A lot of sick going on. And she just said to me, it might be time to get my food allergies retested. What was that?
Oh,
when
really?
did you tell me that? Last Thursday?
Yeah.
Saturday?
How long has it been since you had them tested?
Was it this summer?
I was pregnant with Jackson, so it was sometime last year we determined.
6 months ago. Yeah.
But they can change, they can switch.
Right.
Plus, she might get tuna back.
Yeah, and then you can have tuna for lunch.
Oh.
You can have tuna lunches. Can you imagine that? I'm sure your friends would have comments with that if you were opening up like a can of tuna at lunch.
We do it around here.
We do it
We
around
love
here and
tuna.
it stinks. But I can imagine your friends would think it smells. Jean, I just wanted to comment on what you said. I gave up sugar, dairy, and wheat and gluten for 21 days, and I feel so alert and am down many pounds. Been binge watching TWW to absorb everything because I am so alert. So that's very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Start somewhere. That's a good start. Do you have anything else to add?
No, I'm just going to wrap it up by just saying that what we've learned with watching her grow up, now our next one is only 3.5, so just the difference though, a magnitude of differences, and what I wish I would have known then, but we're not going to live in the fact of I didn't know it and now I'm not going to do anything. We had somebody comment on our new mom video a couple weeks ago that said, I wish I would have known this when I had my son, when I had him when I was 16.
Right.
And I like to say, use that knowledge as power to go forward. And even though this show is called New Mom Monday, I obviously didn't just become a new mom recently with her, but you have to know these things now. So,
yeah, and I always say it's new mom as in like new to the wellness way, new to Crunchy Mom too.
Yeah, we base a lot of it on little babies, but it's fun to have her on.
Right.
So we're actually, I was just talking to Doc, and he's going to do a video pretty quick here on why not to feed babies any solids until they're 1.
Good.
So obviously, like I said with her, we're just pumping things left and right, and now we're still dealing with that today. And oops, play footsie. But
what's on the docket for next week?
Next week, if I remember correctly, is increasing
milk supply.
Milk supply, because we get lots of questions.
That's right.
And we'll touch on, are you really short on milk? Because I get a lot of moms that think they're short on milk, but they're not.
But they're not. Good to know.
They're not.
All right, so feel free to comment, like, and share. And if you have any questions for Bella or Bri or myself, we'll get back to you when we can, and we'll see you next week.